It's Wednesday, April the 3rd, 2024. My name is Jacob Payne. You are watching or listening to things you might have heard, the daily news update from the Conversation Project. And we have 8 stories in the queue from you from yesterday that you deemed as conversational stories, stories that were cool enough to talk about. So we're going to talk about them here. Now, we'll have those stories and explain how that happens, how you say they're cool, plus some today things, some fun things for the day to get you through the day as well. And some surprises. We just kind of stick around for those. Our website, this is a conversationproject.com, is where you can find more information about the full offerings of the Conversation Project. And the email address is, of course, conversationinbox@gmail.com. Stay tuned for all great things here. Now, 8 stories, as we said, from a large number of stories, over 37 extinct posts throughout the day from yesterday. No particular order that's going to be presented for the stories in most cases, but we'll give you some context on what stories were more popular than others. And we'll tell you right now, these are from the top 15 stories of the day. So the top of the tops got a chance to be discussed in this discussion. That all make sense? All right, headline number 1. And this is probably the biggest story of the day because it happened late in the afternoon, evening here, and it's become a larger story. Strong earthquake shakes Taiwan, damaging buildings and causing tsunami. This happened. I was literally inside of a meeting yesterday evening, and when someone got a news alert, looked at the phone and went over this one. This is a story that we'll be following for a while because natural disasters take a while to pan out and take a while to get some expertise on them. The biggest tsunami, the biggest earthquake in about 25 years, 7.5 magnitude. It's pretty big, pretty issue, and issued a tsunami warning, and of course some floodings out there around the area. As of this point right now, essentially 12 hours since the thing happened, they're still doing recovery, still doing cleanup, still trying to check things out, still looking to see who has survived and who's going through this. They're not in a long-term form of recovery yet, but they're still trying to figure out how this happened, well, in this earthquake, and how to maintain what's going on right now. Lots of thoughts and lots of positive energy being sent towards the people Taiwan in this right now. In the meantime, more thoughts being sent towards Gaza as this headline gets even more grim. The headline is 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers killed by Israeli airstrike in Gaza. What everyone is basically seeing as an accident, and they're going for that because they're pretty sure the Israelis will not target a food health organization. But the World Central Kitchen essentially has shut down its operations. And Jose Andres, who basically can find a way to get food anywhere, no matter what conditions are, is now speaking out about the fact that this is not the best look for Israel. Using food as a weapon is not the best way to win a war. Now, no one believes that Jose Andres was actually targeted in this sense, but instead of Israel trying to do the best to make sure that the food gets in, because they're having lots of bad PR about starvation and genocide, they're ramping up attacks at places where people are gathering for food. It doesn't seem like the right thing to do. My words, nowhere in particular, but it's because it doesn't seem like it's the right thing to do. What are we going to do about this? Not sure what we are going to do about this, but right now the Israelis and the government led by Benjamin Netanyahu not doing the best things possible for themselves. Definitely not in the PR standpoint for humanitarian aid. Not exactly a good look for their actual war fighting as well. This is a situation that unfortunately it's not going away tomorrow. It's been around literally since biblical times, so it's not going to be fixed in a weekend. But we'll see how this thing goes forward. We're definitely sending prayers to the families and the people involved in the actual attack, the people who lost their lives, and many prayers to all the folks dealing with this directly. Much prayers to Jose Andres, who has taken on a impossible mission and somehow gets it done all the time. The next story is not piling on. It is a bit of a picking, but it's because people are curious. People want to see this. Why are we picking on Bronny James? We're not, but let's do the story. Bronny James expected to leave USC, enter NCAA transfer portal. Now, whether Bronny James will actually go to the school where his father's former head basketball coach is coaching now, which is a long shot because they just made the NCAAs on a long shot, is one thing. Probably not happening there. But Bronny James' time at USC is basically over. The biggest rumors were the fact that he was not progressing well at USC. He's not the best fit. And so now that we know that he is safe to play ball and things are fine, being in the shadow of his father down the street at Southern Cal while his father's playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, that being LeBron James, has been a bit difficult for everyone. And so Bronny James is getting a bit out of the spotlight, going someplace else. Someplace smaller, we don't know. Someplace larger, we don't know. Someplace where a more capable band of brothers can help him shine with his style of play. We don't know yet. Right now, he's just entering a transfer portal. That means he could go someplace next season. He may actually stay at USC. We don't know. What we do know is there's like 5% chance he's going in the draft, which should be 0, but you never know what could happen on this end. Bronny James is leaving, taking his talents away from Southern California, going somewhere soon to hopefully up his game and get into the pros, because that's what everyone seems to want. I'm not sure that's exactly what he wants, which is kind of the thing. Everyone seems to want Bronny James playing next to LeBron somewhere very soon. This one may be piling on. Actually, this one is kind of piling on. Don Lemon's show views tank by over 90% after Elon Musk interview on X platform. Don Lemon's experience on the Don Lemon show is seeing a dramatic drop as the show is just not catching on with people. We know that he was going to X, which was a big deal. And because he did the interview with Elon Musk, which went nuclear very fast, it brought a lot of attention. The problem is we're not doing an interview with an Elon Musk style character every single week. The interviews so far have been Kara Swisher, which was essentially, breaking down the Elon Musk interview. One with Monique, where she didn't say anything all that new, and some quick hits, more or less like what I do in my shorts here and there, about various news stories, and some longer interviews that don't really sort of fit a mold. What is Don Lemon going to do going forward? I don't know. I'm not in his production meetings, but essentially what he thought he was going to do was just sort of a chat show with famous type people. Now that he's not getting that kind of juice, because essentially from the Musk interview, he's got to try to figure something else out. This is his livelihood. This is his business. This is him making money on his own and doing his own thing. So he's got to figure out a way to do this. I know exactly, because I'm doing the same thing with this thing here. I have to make money on my own with this thing here as I can. I'll try to make it fit. Don Lemon, much greater scale, a much greater fall from grace if this does not work overall, but a 90% drop in viewership on wherever you're watching it, mostly YouTube, is a big deal. And this may be a bit of piling on, but Don Lemon is a big boy, and he'll either figure it out or find someplace else to land, because that's what happens when you're on that level. Sometimes things work out a little bit better for folks on that level. Here's a very interesting story that popped in yesterday. 8 passengers are stranded on an African island after a Norwegian cruise ship left them. 8 passengers found themselves stranded on an African island after a Norwegian cruise ship departed without them. The incident has drawn attention to the importance of adhering to the ship's schedule and the consequences of missing the designated departure times. It also serves as a reminder all travelers return to the cruise ship well before scheduled departure. What they're saying about these passengers, go to the link in the email, link in the description, and get more details on the passengers in this situation. But this is definitely a reminder that when you're on a tour, you need to keep up the tour. My parents right now are touring the world because they're retired, and with their limited income, they have a way to tour the world. That must be nice to be retired with limited income, I guess. Trust me, they hit all the checkpoints. My dad is a 30-year military man. He does not miss a time hack, doesn't miss a chest point. They hit everything perfectly, and they will be safe. These folks, they'll go back and get them. They know where they are. They just have to go back and get them. They probably got them by now, so hopefully that's all settled. But remember, if you're on vacation and you have a schedule, don't go off the beaten path because you think you know better. You don't know better. This one is piling on, but from a reverse section. Jon Stewart has returned back to basic cable TV for The Daily Show for 1 day a week. And this week, he spent a lot of time dealing with the networks, CNN, NBC, MSNBC in particular, because of their handling of one particular story. And the headline gets us in that. Jon Stewart dings news networks for a reaction over video Trump shared of Biden tied up. Biden was tied up and this video shared. Somewhere along the line, where Trump was basically calling out people in his court cases and getting himself in trouble, Trump shared a video of some pickup trucks driving down the street. And one of the pickup trucks on the tailgate had this picture of Joe Biden hogtied. It's pretty deplorable. It's pretty bad. However, it probably should not have taken up 3 or 4 segments in each hour of the news on MSNBC and CNN yesterday, because essentially every time I turned to the news, they were talking about it. They were showing a clip of it, and then back when it says, "Oh no, we can't show that much because it's all terrible," and things like that. Jon Stewart, being an equal opportunity basher, bit into the folks with their commentary, essentially doing the fainting couch for the liberals as he does fainting couch for the conservatives. Going into this one, he basically went into all sorts of media, just going into the ethics of doing this stuff and just kind of getting on high horses for this. This was a quick story that could have been out there, and it could have ran multiple times, but it didn't need all the faux cynicism, the faux just outrage that was with that. It's outrageous, it's terrible, it's bad, but it didn't need all of that. You can check out Jon Stewart's actual takedown of the takedowns probably in a few days. Actually, I think they basically post their things next day, so you can probably see this one. It's Wednesday, so it's probably posted by now, unlike the this week tonight, where they wait till Thursday to post things new. The Comedy Central show for the Daily Show basically posts things the next day, so you should be able to see this. Obviously, we're talking about it as a news story, so there is that as well. We go on to story number 7 for this morning. The headline for that reads, Donald Trump has posted $175 million bond to avert asset seizure as he appeals New York fraud penalty. Excuse me, get that one out. Here is the deets for that one. Donald Trump has posted the $175 million bond in his ongoing civil fraud case in New York. This move halts the collection process of the more than $454 million that he actually owes as a result of the case. It means he can go ahead and appeal, which he could do anyway, but he doesn't have to worry about Letitia James trying to take his office space, trying to take his houses and stuff, which is good for Trump. Where the money came from, that's not important. No one needs to know that. That's nobody's business. He got the money, and will the fall guy go after him because he doesn't pay? He skips on his bail. That will be something really cool to see. But for right now, we are cool, if you will, with the court case, the civil court case, where there will be no seizures of assets. There will be no trying to find money in Swiss banks accounts. There won't be anything pulling back to hold on to the judgment just in case he walks away, because he does have a bond posted for the 454 he actually totally owes. So there. Good news, I guess. This is not great news, but this is a great celebration here. We are giving a great salute to Lou Conter, the last survivor of the USS Arizona from Pearl Harbor, the attack, and he died at the age of 102. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with, when I was in elementary school, like third, fourth grade, I was obsessed with Pearl Harbor and the attack, and big into World War II, going into that into my teenage years up for when I had a big thing and we lived in Germany as a teenager, so I got to see some of those sites and live some of those things in that case. But when I was in fourth or fifth grade, I got a book about the USS Arizona and the attack, and I was just obsessed with this for years. This is one that I definitely kept into. One day I'm going to Hawaii to actually see the actual site, because it's one of the things that don't really have a bucket list, but it's one thing I want to really do if I ever travel. Not a big fan of flying over big bodies of water, but I go for this particular thing. He's the last surviving man to serve on the USS Arizona who died at the age of 102. He died at his home in Grass Valley, California, due to congestive heart failure. Heroes can't last forever, and this is a guy who survived a horrendous just ordeal. It was, it's hard to even kind of go through that one. He went on to just kind of teach escape and invasive techniques to pilots, and survived being shot down in shark-infested waters before retiring in 1967. This guy had a life, lived a big life, and was out there just showing resolve all forward. A big salute to Lou Conter, the last surviving member of the crew of the USS Arizona. Apologies, errors, and omissions today. Let's just do the quick a minute story very quickly. Gypsy Rose, this story was number 6 of the 15 in the top this morning, so it was a big deal to you folks out there. Gypsy Rose, of course, left her social media, not out there speaking to the public, because a parole officer says it might get her in trouble. Something that apparently has gotten her in trouble is essentially her talk about the fire pipe game with her husband that she got to finally meet when she got out of prison. But they're not together. She's breaking up with her husband because whatever. They got married in July of 2022, and Rose made the announcement upon the return to social media shortly after release from prison that she got married, is going forward. Now they're going through a separation that is subject of public interest, along with the public interest in her right now and her post-prison life and whatever. Essentially, what her parole officer said, all the craziness of life outside of prison is getting to her, and this thing in particular is affecting the marriage. Now, whether the marriage was doomed to be to start, that's a whole nother issue for a whole nother podcast, but we may actually go deeper into that one without trying to be piling on, if we can do that. Let's just say tastefully, because it's a story that takes a lot of nuance, if you will. We're going to talk right now about our teaser story. This is a story that is being posted, actually posted right before we went live with this at 5:50 a.m. Central Time with the live recording of this, that you can vote into existence. Well, not quite existence, but vote into existence into the next iteration of things you might have heard. Go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com or X.com, because of the same, /TH_conversation. And if you want to talk up some Lizzo, we'll talk up some Lizzo. Now, if it's a top 15 story of the day, we'll pull it out and take a look at it and pull 8 of those stories to give you in our headline rundown. Lizzo says she's not leaving music industry, clarifies "I quit" statement. Lizzo last week put out a Instagram or something, put out on social media, "I quit. I'm done with y'all. I'm done with y'all. I can't deal with this. I quit." So, of course, the headlines were Lizzo quits the business, which no one believed at all. Now she's clarifying it because you need time, you need space, you need some time to marinate this thing and get some good pub from it, or bad pub, or any pub, because that's basically what happened. It took the weekend to essentially get all the juice out of this that you could, and probably got a little more out of it. Except no one actually believes she's actually quitting show business or music or anything, entertainment at all. And so we will talk about her redefinition of "I quit" if you deem this story worthy of being put into the listing. As I said, follow us on the feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and you will see if we talk about Lizzo tomorrow. Top 15 stories get their chance to get into the 8 stories. Is Lizzo quitting, not quitting, quiet quitting, unquiet quitting? Is she in the list tomorrow? We shall see. Let's talk about our spotlight sponsor for this morning. That spotlight sponsor is Robinhood. Speaking of Donald J. Trump, how did your DJT do yesterday? Probably not so great. We want to remind you that in the investment world, we'd have investment platforms like Robinhood and Fundrise in our sponsors deck. You can lose money. You can lose a lot of money. You can lose substantial money over time, or you can have something just go wrong and things go bad. Donald Trump's stock lost about 20% of its value in one day after people realized it not only made little money, it costs a whole lot more money to run than the little money that it spends by a whole lot. So it looks like a bad investment. If you bought it on your own, that's great because it's your investment. If someone else bought it for you, well, you can blame them for them. But the big thing about a Robinhood, and hard to put it on this way, is it puts you in control of your money, of your investments. You can do what you want to do. Now, the big selling point they give you is buy whatever you want to because it's all great. The big real issue is you could lose money in these investments. So take some control of your investments, take some control of some of your spare change, learn a bit about what's going on, because you'll be surprised how much you learn about companies and what they're doing when you have money on the line, and get yourselves a chance get in some great deals. Robinhood is adding a lot of great features, including a brand new gold card, which is coming very soon. So keep an eye out for that one, and do what it can to stay relevant and make you money while making themselves money in the case. And it still costs you nothing to trade, but there are other ways that you can get in, including their gold membership for more amenities in their banking. Check them out at our site. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is an affiliate link where if you click through us, One, you still get that free stock as a brand new user. That's there. But we get a small commission for you buying in stocks using Robinhood. And you can be like one of the millions who use the app, including myself, to manage a part of their portfolio. My massive part of my portfolio is built by actual people who keep an eye on these things all day long. I just keep an eye on some companies, a lot of them that I deal with here in the news, to keep things going forward. So check out Robinhood today and check it out on us, if you please. Let's talk about us. Quickly, very quickly. The Conversation Project lives online at this. It's conversationproject.com. And this is our website, our home, we tell you about, where you can check us out and see what's going on all day long within the conversation. Now, another thing we've added to the Conversation Project website is a trending news page. It's a page that has trending stories on it. This pulls from another aggregate that's not necessarily the stories we're posting, but we check it out every so often to see what's out there, because we can see what stories are out there trending and try to pull some of them as well. So you can see what actual news stories. I think it's 2 by 3. So 6 stories that are currently trending based on the algorithm of that widget we have there. You can also just check out the feeds, and you'll know exactly what's trending because we have them there in the feeds. And while you're there, you can engage in those stories and tell us what stories to talk about tomorrow. Facebook and Twitter, that's there. Email us at conversationinbox@gmail.com. Tell me what we can do to make things better. Look for all the things on the website, including how to get the short takes, how to get the newsletter, how to get the audio versions. And as we say every single day here, consider being a partner and helping us get more things done at the Conversation Project. Go to it's conversationproject.com/partnerships. There are various ways for you to contribute to us. If you deem us worthy, we will take good care of your contributions. Definitely very much. Otherwise, make sure you're emailing us and checking out the feed so we know what to do for the shows. If you give us stuff to do, we can bring in more eyeballs there, and we can make things work. We can make things work. We will make things work. Thank you so much in advance for all you are willing to give to us. Now, the fun stuff for April 3rd. Starting off with birthdays, we always begin with birthdays. And the birthday that we're being a big celebration to is Wayne Newton, who is 82 years old today. And as of this year says, the hell with you folks, I'm done with things. He is retiring from his Vegas act, essentially within months. So if you hadn't seen some Wayne Newton, you need to go get there now, because he's basically running out of time to see him performing. He's 82 years old, so hey, let him do that. Let him get on. Let him have his time, have his flow, and chill out for whatever remaining days he has. And I'm sure he'll play plenty of times watching all the other residencies there, because I don't think this guy's ever going to get old. He's like Dick Clark was, like always weirdly youthful. But he's given up the gig because he probably got plenty of money and don't need all that stuff anymore. Lots more time to, spend time with family, I guess. Also birthdays on the day, Eddie Murphy is turning 63 years old, and Amanda Bynes, who has had a lot of popped in the news lately because of the Nickelodeon documentary and things that they believe happened to her, putting her in the situation she's been in the past couple of years. She is 38 years old on the day. Those last two should help you feel really, really much older now that you know that Amanda Bynes is almost 40 years old at this point. One hit for history today: the first portable cell phone call placed in New York City, 1973. 1973. 51 years later, cell phones are essentially the scourge of humanity, and the AI will use the phones to kill us eventually. But the first portable cell phone call was made in New York City on this day. There's a history that really means something to you. 1973. Not the fact that the Amazon made its first purchase today, in 1995. But let's talk. That's a whole nother scourge to talk about as well. Oh, that first purchase, a book titled "Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies." There you go. A science book. We're going to talk about the word for the day. It is debacle. And we see many debacles today. It is defined as a sound defeat, a debacle. Check out the word of the day and more words at thebigwordsproject.com. And we'll talk about that again another quick bump for that in just a moment. But first, we celebrate Fish Fingers and Custard Day. And I'm not sure why we celebrate it. I ain't celebrating it, but it's a big homage to an episode of Doctor Who. So Doctor Who fans, this day's all for you. Fish Fingers and Custard. I'm not even going to read the description. I'm not even going there because it just sounds pretty disgusting. But if you're a Doctor Who fan, hoop it up today. Wear your scarves, your funny hats, fish fingers and custards. It's all for today. Finally, very quickly before we get out of here, I'll remind you that we launched the Big Words Project a few weeks ago. We launched the first book from the Big Words Project of first of 12. This is going to be pretty massive. This is something that I'm going to do whether you guys are picking up or not, because I got plenty of time. Well, I got plenty of words to get to and time to make it happen. Book 1, Volume 1, Big Words You Ought to Know, Volume 1, 100 Words from A But to Zest is out right now on Amazon and wherever other books are sold, because they're in different places. Look for this book on Amazon.com. The paperback and the Kindle edition are there for you. Every dollar, $1, not every dollar, $1 from each of these books sold is going to a local reading program here in Arkansas. So help me help some folks out and help me, maintain my sanity with these projects with that going forward. So check it out, thebigwordsproject.com for more details on the Big Words Project. And the first book from 12, we're going to do 12 of these things, The Big Words You Ought to Know, Volume 1, 100 Words from A But to Zest. Check it out today. Today is Wednesday, April the 3rd, 2024. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. This has been this day's edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Stop by the website and see what we can do for you and see what else you're missing from us, because we're in various different forms that might be easier to get to. You might want to just get the newsletter, get the headline links around 6:20 every morning. You might want to listen to it on a podcast and not watch it in a video or whatever. Put it in your podcatcher so it's easier. Make sure you stop by our website. Make sure you email us at conversationinbox@gmail.com. Follow the feeds, the most important thing we can do moving forward. And if you deem us worthy, possibly consider become a partner. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task for all the grand things you're here to do. Do not prematurely end anything for yourself, because many people are needing you to be around. I need you to be around, especially for tomorrow, because tomorrow we have another big day. Big Thursday. We're just going to say it's Big Thursday. And we need you here for the views, for the clicks, for the likes, for all that stuff. So have a great Wednesday. Be prepared for a great Thursday. We'll see you then.